What up, Facebook Live family and friends? The head therapist, Elliot Andre, is back again with a great interview with a guy I just met at Fort Collins Comic-Con, Sean Fannon. Dude is a G. He knows what's up. He's been around the geek culture for a while and is being a huge innovator and a huge innovator in the world of gaming right now. So, Sean, if you could, introduce yourself to everybody out there. Let us know what you do and what differentiates you from the field. We'd really appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we met because he was part of a panel at Foco Coco, as we call it, dealing with the geek culture and how it intersects with mental and emotional health in the community. And that's an area that I am recently very much a part of. So Sean Patrick Fannon, I was the first dungeon master in Cobb County, Georgia, so I told you how far back I go. 1977, when D&D first came out, I was one of the first adopters. By 1988, writing professionally. Worked on the original Star Wars role-playing game, worked on the most recent Star Wars role-playing game out of Fantasy Flight Games. Did a lot of stuff with the Champion superhero role-playing game. I did some stuff with World of Darkness. Currently, I'm the president of Beagle Games. It's a collective of fantastic writers and designers and creative folk putting out really, really great stuff. We we were the main design team for Savage Rifts, which a lot of tabletop fans were hugely excited about. That was nearly a $500,000 Kickstarter.
Wow.
Did the Freedom Squadron Kickstarter not too long ago, which is basically a love letter to G.I. Joe, but we scraped all the serial numbers off. And we just recently did a Kickstarter, a very successful Kickstarter for a superhero role-playing game called Prowls and Paragons Ultimate Edition. So a lot of superhero stuff going on right now with that. Totally. So that's all the gaming stuff, but with 30 years plus as a huge personal advocate of therapy and mental health and the fact that we are desperately underserving the population where mental and emotional health are concerned.
Absolutely.
My very, very dear friend, Corey Williamson, who's a long-standing member of the Denver Geek and LARP community, wanted to do something to give something to his culture. They wanted to leave a positive legacy. So he brought myself, Jennifer Scheinfeld, Mike Lithgow, Bill Keys, and a whole bunch of other local well-known people in the culture and said, let's do something, let's give something back.
Totally.
So we all went all in on this. So Airmid Events, Airmid, A-I-R-M-I-D, and if you look over in the thing, you'll see
in the comments below or in the description,
you'll see the link for it. The website's acting weird this morning, but we have the Facebook group and it's really active. Awesome. Anyway, Airmid is the goddess of healing within the Celtic mythology. And so we chose that name to represent that we want to create mental and emotional healing. We want to create assets and resources. We want to create community that helps support those kinds of things. And because I have no shame or social fear, they made me get in charge of the communications part. So that's what we're about. We want to do something. We're focused on the Front Range and the Rocky Mountain community right now, but we eventually want to expand the concept out and recruit others elsewhere to be a part of the mission.
I love that. And I think you hit on such a big part of geekdom and mental health and how we probably are, and me included, being a certified geek myself, felt as if I didn't have a lot of places to go. So I feel as if, you bringing this all together and everybody being a part of this is a really good space to do that. So,
hey, Stephanie.
Hey, what's up, Stephanie? How are you? So good to see you.
Absolutely.
So tell us, me and our fans out there and everybody, what an event that Airmid might put on may look like, because I think a lot of people out there are like, oh, you're telling us about this and you're you're telling the people what that may look like, but we want to know like in full what that seems like.
Right, absolutely. So there's like two different kind of ways we're approaching this. We're trying to create spaces and moments where people gather for the purpose of enjoying games, enjoying geekery, but at the same time interacting on the principle of, hey, let's talk about mental health, let's talk about supporting one another.
100%.
You use our information, our assets, and our resources. So if you look at the Airmid Events Facebook page, for example, you're going to see numerous posts about, text here if you're in crisis. Contact these people. One of the reasons why we were really glad to meet up with you guys is so we want to put your links up in our spaces, and we're starting to do that right now. There was during the Foco Coco panel. Foco Coco. It's so much fun to say. Fort Collins Comic-Con.
That just rolls off.
But during the panel, at one point, there was a person in the back who asked, "Hey, how would I find you? How would I find people like you?" And Corey so brilliantly stood and said, "Actually, that's our job. That's why we're here. We want to make sure that we know who they are and make sure you are able to find them."
You're bridging the gap.
Exactly that. We want to be the community bridge because we're all very involved in the geek community. We're known. I mean, I'm there's most likely Sean Patrick Fannon to pop up on your Google search. And we're known, we're trying to convert that presence, that voice into, hey, while we're talking to you about gaming and geekery, while we're gathering you at events, which I'm going to get into that in just a second.
Absolutely.
You know, we also want to say, here, find him, right? Find Stephanie, find people like that who are very geek friendly and want to, you know, give their time and their resources and their professional ability to help you. Yeah. Know that you're not alone. Know that you're not suffering. I mean, so an Airmid event is right now, this coming Saturday. This Saturday.
Saturday.
At Total Escape Games, folks. At Total Escape Games. It's in Broomfield.
Hell yes.
It is a fantastic game store. They are very dear friends of ours. They always support everything that we're trying to do. So come on by. Starting at noon, we're going to be there. We're going to have board games. There's going to be some food. We are going to be just hanging out and playing games and talking. And we're going to have folks like him come by so they can promote their work and say, hey, I'm a geek. I understand where you're coming from. Right. And if you're looking to establish a relationship with somebody who can help you, let's talk. And that's really it, to create that intersection. We, as a culture, have always been the place where a lot of folks who were non-neurotypical, whether it was autism, whether it was just depression or a sense of disconnect from what they consider to be, you know, normal society, Dungeons and Dragons opened a pathway. Geekery, science 100%. Fiction opened a pathway. A safe place. A safe space, exactly. But within that safe space, there are still those who feel disconnected. 100%. Especially the more normalized gaming is, the more popularly welcomed geekery is. You've got a lot more mainstream interaction with that. So the ones who still feel marginalized are back to feeling a little bit marginalized. Right. We are also, by the way, very focused on, we want our events to eventually be very representative. We want more women. We want more people of color. Sure. We want people of all orientations and gender identities. And we want them to feel like, I can come in, I can talk to Sean Patrick Fannon about how I could write and design games. Yeah. How, you know, because gaming's looked like me for way too long, right? Sure. I'm an old cis het white dude, and okay, fine. I'm grateful that people like my work, but I need to. You and I have been in charge of geekery for too long. We need way more diversity. So diversity 100%. And inclusivity is another one of those missions that we're after. So this coming Saturday, the 24th at TAG, there'll be food, there'll be gaming. You know, people will actually be creating an intersection of, hey, I want to find a table to play some games at. Sure. I also want to find someone to talk to about some problems I'm having. Totally. November 7th. No, September 7th. Yeah. I'll be there. Woo! Central City. The mayor of Central City himself, Jeremy Fay, and the folks of Central City. That's the quirky little old western town that's, you know, has a great opera house and it's right next to Blackhawk. Right. They've been incredibly welcoming to us. They're so like, cool, man. You know, we have all these spaces that are not gambling oriented. We have all these desire to make people aware of what we're doing. So they've been incredibly welcome. Joe and the folks at the Teller House, the barbecue place up there, have been incredibly, please come by. So we're going to be at the Teller House. Fantastic barbecue, some of the best barbecue you're going to have west of Mississippi. And I'm from Georgia. I know what I'm talking about. It says a lot, doesn't it? So we're going to be up there doing the same kind of thing, sitting around. You're going to be able to make a presentation. Yeah. We're going to have people talking, that kind of stuff. This is all, these kinds of meet and greets are all in lead up to May 15th to the 17th is the overall weekend, but it's the 16th, May 16th. We're actually going to have an all-day big mega event with multiple games, with workshops, not panels, but workshops for people to sit down. You could have a workshop. Yeah. Talk about how sign me up. Here's how I'm going to create spaces for you to come and get out into the world, and because you're all about the physical, getting out in space and do stuff. And we've actually been talking about doing LARP stuff. Yeah. Him helping facilitate LARP stuff in the physical spaces as a way of creating community and creating mental safety and health. Yes. So we want to talk about those kinds of things. Yeah. I'll be giving workshops on, hey, you want to express yourself. Here's all the different ways you can express yourself, and I can help you do that. So we're going to have people of mental health professions and gaming professions. It's going to be that kind of space. So it's not just a normal convention like Chopicon, there's tables, blah, blah. It's really going to be focused on you are here as a part of this community, and everyone here is a part of the same community to be together, and so that you're not alone, and so that you not only can feel like you can sit down and have a great time with a bunch of really interesting people, but you can talk about where you are, where your path is. You can find someone to help you take the next step to seeking mental health, or you can find the assets and resources so that on your own time you can go, you know what, I was really glad to meet you, so can I set up to come talk to you more? Right. or, I'm really in crisis. Well, here's all these assets and resources so that the next time you're feeling like there's nothing left, there's always something left. We've lost too many,
right,
who didn't find another way out.
Totally.
And we all have some personal experience with that. Sorry.
Okay. I feel you.
So we want, if we can help one person not take that step.
Yeah.
If we can help one person in our community not make that choice and to choose another way, it's worth it to us. That's 100%. What this is about, man.
Absolutely. I'm holding back tears here too, because I feel that as well. It's not too many people, don't have space or outlets to explore. So I'm just so glad that you're here and you're doing this.
Well, it's again
being part of the community, and giving back. That's
it. It's the community's been incredibly wonderful to me. I mean, hell, we moved to Colorado because people were like, "You need to get out of the South."
Right.
No offense, folks. I'll never live in the South again. I'm too lefty. I'm just going to say that right now. But we need to get out. I need to get access where I could get health care, because there was no ACA access in healthcare in the South, but there was here. So the community got together and threw a crap ton of money at a GoFundMe and said, "Come here."
That's amazing.
So the community has given to me time and time and time again. There's those out there who've had benefits, who've done well for themselves, and they've always just turned around and said, "Here, Sean, you need help."
Right.
So the thing was always the known thing. I mean, right back from the beginning of my career, when Ray Greer, George McDonald, Steve Peterson, Bruce Harlick, and the rest of those guys looked at me and said, you have fire, you have something about you, we want to give you a chance.
Sure.
And they did everything they could to push me forward. Shane Hensley of Pinnacle of Entertainment, Matt Forbeck, so many great, fantastic human beings in the gaming industry from the past who lifted me up and said, go do these things. We're going to do everything to help you. Just pay it forward.
Right.
Right. So I've been all these years paying it forward to bringing in new writers, new designers, new voices. But this is my way to do something even more. I've been spending all my time creating safe spaces in imaginary worlds for people to be heroes.
Right.
And we don't feel like we can fix the real world, so we create these spaces in the fantasy worlds where we can then be heroes, or we express ourselves in some other way. I'm the hero guy, but other people will, I'll play a bad guy and steal crap, whatever. But whatever it is, it's a safe space to express. This is a chance to get out of those imaginary spaces and get back into the real space and say, here, through the connectivity of what we've created, what I've done, I can now give back to my community in this meaningful way. I'm going to actually work on doing something meaningful and heroic and good in the real world.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
It's like the real life application of all these things that we may talk about, or that, maybe like something that people don't really feel comfortable expressing, and we're putting it forward, and we're trekking, and just having a space to do that is such a quintessential, anomaly to so many of us out there. Generally us geeks, we isolate, and that's a huge problem of things that come up. And if I'm isolating, why would I want to seek mental health? Why would I feel like I connect with anybody? And I think what you're providing in the space is creating that. And I think one thing we need to touch base on is like getting the energy to do that.
Yes.
Because I feel like we can provide the space, but we need people to show up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've put any thought into this or spoke to anybody about this, of like what that may look like for somebody who's like on the edge or on the precipice of wanting to come to an event or wanting to be part of the geek culture, but still doesn't feel like they have the energy or drive to do so.
It's like you wish you could go knock on everybody's door and say, come, please, you're welcome, get in the car, come along. Unfortunately, that's just not practical for us. But all we can do is keep saying, please come, please come. We welcome you. So it's really going to be a matter of messaging, right? Yeah. And that's kind of my job as the marketing guy, is to figure out the right messaging. You say, look, take a chance. Come enjoy us. If you have questions, like I'm not sure if it's going to be for me, drop us a line. Drop me a line. I'm incredibly easy to find here on Facebook, and I talk to everybody. So drop a message into Airmid Events and say, hey, I'm kind of interested, but I want to know, I'm concerned about these things. Am I going to feel welcome with this? Or, what happens if I feel like I'm getting overloaded? So that's another thing, as an example, I'm really glad, you made me think about this. We always try our best to make sure that we look after people because group things are fun and exciting and you want to be community, but sometimes people are like I'm overstimulated, or
there's so much social anxiety involved,
or I'm having social anxiety. So every time we do one of these things, we try our best to make sure that people know that we can and will actively create a safe, quieter space for them. And one way or another, we will do that. And we're like, okay, this, let's go ahead and just step out here. It's okay. We're just gonna, do you want somebody with you, or do you need to be by yourself? We're gonna be trying to be very, very aware of that, because I've got people that are in my group. I'm Mr. Extrovert. I'm Mr. All the extrovert energy.
Me too.
I do not internally grok that thing.
Right.
But I've got too many introverts in my life.
Right.
So I've had to become. So when we have parties at my place, what we call the pub. And we'll occasionally have events over at the pub, as we call it, and and people will be welcome to come and enjoy those as meet and greets too. But I always set up my office / the bedroom space, which has a big, nice, comfy chair. That's the quiet space, right? It's like, okay, everybody, if you're in there, there's gonna be quiet music, everybody's gonna chill out.
Right.
Hey, Vonnie, how you doing?
Hey.
So we try to do that. Now at TAG this Saturday, we'll look at that. We'll figure it out. They do have what they call the fishbowl. Maybe we can set them as a slightly quieter space. There's also just outside the side doors a nice little quiet place to sit down. We're always kind of keeping track of that. And it's just one idea amongst the thing of, we want everyone to feel welcome, no matter what their struggles are. Of course. The only ones that we don't welcome, and I'm just going to say this straight up, if you are a trollish kind of person, if you're a kind of person who's going to make fun of people because they struggle, if you're that kind of person who's like, don't bring politics into my gaming, because anytime you talk about inclusivity, some people think that's a problem. Then we're not the right group for you. Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just love that you're framing this to give people an idea of what that might feel like.
Right.
So go on, please. I just want to say that out loud, because sometimes, shit like that happens.
Right. And the point being, we are about inclusivity. Right. We are about diversity. We're unapologetically so. We want people we want a broader vision of what our culture looks like. If that's the thing you don't support, that's your right. That's your privilege. Play your game your way. Find your group that does what you want to do. But just understand, Airmid Events is about that too.
Totally.
And that means if you support the mission of inclusivity, if you support the mission of non-neurotypical people being welcome without being made to feel guilty about their challenges, then we really want you involved.
Absolutely.
But the one kind of person we would not want is anyone who's against those kinds of ideas. We're not the group for you. Totally. Because you won't be happy, and you won't be creating a safe space for everybody else.
Yeah, and that's inclusivity is such a big part of mental health.
Yes.
Geekdom, anything, any type of space that, seeks that. And I appreciate you bringing that up. I want to talk about the actual physical gaming, because I feel like we're talking a lot about like what this may look like. And so what games are we going to be, what we'll be playing at these events, or what are you looking to get out of these games that we're playing? I mean, because the whole idea is like the mental health and aspect of that. So if you could talk to our fans and family out there, who I think with thumbs up, if you really want to know like what you might be getting yourself into, I think that'd be really helpful.
And I'm looking forward to questions too.
Yes, please ask away.
So role-playing games are my thing, right? Where everybody has a character, they immerse themselves in a story. If I'm going to be running any scenarios, I'm definitely going to be running very much, hey, Marvel Cinematic Universe, you're the superheroes, here's the bad guys, here's the bad guy situation, very focused on that kind of stuff. And just a sense of accomplishment, a sense of connectivity. So it's not like the game itself is going to be designed specifically for, let's address this mental health issue. It's going to be much more about just comfort. Like, sit here, have some fun, roll some dice, feel excited, immerse yourself.
And there's benefits in just being there and doing that, right? Of course.
And you're meeting people, and you're creating these kinds of things. We're going to have board games of all different kinds with people facilitating and running those. Most of our meet and greets are going to be focused primarily on the board game thing, because those are easy drop-in, whatever. Tabletop board games, not computer games, folks. That's we're talking about getting physically together with each other like this.
Yes.
Rolling some dice.
High-fiving.
Right? So that kind of thing. And that's what we're talking about is physically getting together to do that kind of stuff. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to be like, hey, you guys get together and want to start doing online gaming together.
Right, totally.
I mean, one of the things I can certainly talk about is the virtual tabletop phenomenon, where there's computer programs out there now where people can log in, everybody can play a role-playing game, but from their computer.
The comfort of their own home.
The comfort of their own home, which for a lot of people, that's going to be a thing. I have a relationship with Astral, which is one of the newest virtual tabletop companies out there. They're very much fans of my company. We're talking about some stuff there, and I'm very much wanting to see if I can export that as a tool for, like, I'm an introvert, I don't really want to get out of my house, but I do want to interact with people. So that's a space that I want to try to bring them into. But the games are just sitting down and playing a game with another human being, and being at a table with somebody, learning something new maybe, getting excited about it. We definitely are big fans of cooperative games.
Totally.
Where everyone is focused on a mutual goal. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of emphasis, because to us, that's, creating competition is good for some, but it's not good for everybody. So we want to always make sure that we're creating the kind of space that, hey, I don't feel it being competitive. Well, we have like all these games that are about you guys working together towards, a common goal in this game.
Yeah.
Role playing is like that. There's a ton of there's a really great game called The Captain is Dead. That's one of my favorites, where everybody's trying to, keep the ship going and not get blown up by the aliens. And it's like live or die together. So it's a fantastic cooperative game.
Yeah.
Now there's some competitive games too, and for people for whom that's comfortable, there'll be that too.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of facilitators for that, so it's really just gonna be a matter of sit down, meet some people, play some games. That's what it comes down to. And a lot of our events, if you're a gamer, you're gonna come have a good time because we are gamers. Right. It's just, instead of it just being about that, it is also gonna be about, while I'm here, I'm surrounded by people who support this idea of mental health, and it's a mission that I either believe in because there's somebody in my life that I want to give help, or I need help, right? And that's a thing that we want to create as an integrated part of the experience. But yeah, I mean, bring your dice or not. We'll have plenty of dice. It's like I said, there won't be a heavy focus on role play, but we'll probably have a couple of little shorter scenario type things that people can sit down and play. We're currently working up my learn to play scenario system for doing the superhero game, where you can sit down, make a character, and get to do a little superhero battle. Okay. And it's a quick in, quick out. So I'll probably have that set up for this Saturday and for some of the other meet and greets for people who really want to try that kind of thing. But like I said, there's just going to be other kinds of games too, quick card games. There's a game that Jennifer and I both love called Pente. It's classic from like the 80s era. Very nice abstract kind of game. There's all these different kinds of games, and if there's a type of game that you're really interested in, let us know.
Would you offer people to bring a game too if they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You got a game you like and you want to bring it to share? Please do.
Yes.
We have a library of games. We have a ton of stuff to share. But if you have a favorite game and you're willing to teach it, bring it. We'd love to have you. That in
itself is such a powerful moment where you have somebody who may not feel uncomfortable coming to a space, but can bring something that they can teach and give to others.
Yeah.
It's such a mental health moment right there.
Exactly.
Like being able to share something that's passionate about, that you can bring to others and teach. I think it's such an amazing moment, and I think a lot of people take that kind of for granted in that regard, of like what that looks like.
That's a good one, Vone.
What is that?
Flux.
Nice.
Flux is insane. The game, there are no rules until the cards start hitting the table.
Okay.
The rules of how to win keep changing for every new card. It makes me crazy, right? Because I'm a game designer. So I'm like, no, where are the rules? But it's fun. It's a hoot. It's an absolute hoot. I will say a game because a lot of people know about the game Cards Against Humanity.
Sure.
I just want to go ahead and say that's not going to be an appropriate game for our space.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of punching down that happens in that game.
Agreed.
And it's just not something that we're really going to be excited about. So, a game like that, again, no judgment on the people for whom that's fun. It's not a judgy thing, I promise. It's just, it's not going to be conducive to the space that we're trying to create.
Yeah, and it's so impolitically correct sometimes.
Yeah.
So it can offend people. I mean, I don't think you want that space.
It's punching downward, right? I don't have a problem with if it's not politically correct, as long as it's punching upwards.
Right.
The people who put themselves up at the top,
totally.
That's freedom of speech. But anytime a group of people or a person's getting marginalized, it's not the kind of thing we want to create. So those kinds of games, we're going to say thanks but no thanks to. Mm-hmm. But everything else, if you want to come in, it's just like bring in an old game from Milton Bradley. It's like, oh my God, we haven't played the game of life in forever. Why not, man? Bring it. As long as it's fun.
Shoots and ladders, right?
Well, that is not my speed. I'll go right ahead.
So funny. No, I wonder, and a part of what you're doing here too, could potentially get people, in this game designing world and kind of, influence them to like look into what you do and try to start a career in that. I don't know. Is that something you thought of doing and that's doing the workshop, right? In that regard?
That is a workshop I've actually been specifically asked to do at the big event in May. Is that kind of thing. And I'm frequent. I mean, I've been a guest at conventions all over the world, doing that kind of thing. So I've some experience with that myself. Actually, my entire Evil Beagle team, they've all got experience with that.
Nice.
How to game master, how to set up games, how to set up gaming communities, all these kinds of things. So
I think it's a huge barrier for some people.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's almost overwhelming in that space, right?
But it's a lot easier now than it's ever been.
Totally.
With Drive-Thru RPG, set up an account, you can self-publish tomorrow. Literally,
really?
If you had an idea, and you had it pretty much worked out, and you just want to throw some graphics on it, you could publish it tomorrow, and I can tell you how to do that.
I mean, okay, before we wrap up today, I'm gonna be pushing you for resources, because I think so many people can connect to that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people watching out here right now are probably like, shit, like, I might want to do that.
Check out drivethrurpg.com. Check out Dungeon Masters Guild, which is part of the same company. There's tons of what's called community content options, and more every day. Evil Beagle is getting into the community content, where we're going to set up packages of graphics, layout styles.
All you need is computer to access that.
Right,
stuff,
and you just pull it down.
Yeah.
You plug in your words and your design ideas and your characters and your whatever, and then publish it back up again, part of the community content. So anybody who has an idea they want to share, whether it's for free or make a little bit of money at it, it's incredibly easy to do now. If you're a Shadowrun fan, if you're a D&D fan, if you're gosh, I'm trying to remember all the ones now. There's Savage Worlds, this huge Savage Worlds community that's doing that now. By the way, I'm well known for a lot of Savage Worlds work as well. So all of those companies have set up opportunities for you to do that. If you have your own unique idea,
right,
you can just set up an account and become a publisher. All you need is to figure out how you're going to put together the graphics and make it look kind of decent. Stick a piece of art on it, and boom.
Call it a day.
Call it a day. You're ready to go. So the creative outlet is there. A lot of people, as you say, don't know. This is an expertise of mine. I've been teaching it for a while. I also have a thing I call the 4 C's, which I frequently update and do. The 4 C's are the creator, content, community, creator, content, community, consumer. Right.
Nice.
So there's a line that exists between the 4. You're a creator, you create content. The content itself establishes a community around the people who are really into it.
Right.
And through that community, you reach a consumer.
Totally.
And the consumer today, in today's very internet, social media world, wants to connect to the creator.
Right.
I mean, Joss Whedon, Joe Straczynski, Kevin Smith. These are people who've done a fantastic job of exploiting that idea.
Right.
I say exploitation not in a negative way, but it's an idea to exploit, to make something out of. And so they allow communities to be created around the content that they've crafted. Right. A lot of C's in there, but it's intentional. It's kind of the theme. But anyway, the idea is to, especially when you're new, is to actively pursue the two-way line of communication there. So I do a big workshop on that and how that works.
I love that.
And so it's a matter of not just putting something up and hoping that people like it, but actually creating a community around your creations. That's what I spent the last 30 plus years doing.
Right.
So, I can help people figure that out. And
I love that.
knowing that people who have a chance to express themselves creatively and share those creations with others uplifts them spiritually and uplifts them emotionally. That's part of the mission too. If I can give somebody an access to go, you know what? Suddenly I'm not just trapped and feeling like I have all these ideas and I can't share them. Oh my God, this guy just showed me I can share them tomorrow. That's a gift that I'm happy to be able to give.
It's an enormous gift. It's a gift I think that we, don't even think about or maybe even take for granted, that it's just here and available, and there's these places to do that. And I think that in itself is just such a great space and idea for people to take advantage of that. So if you're watching out there and that you connect to this, please.
Absolutely.
Please take advantage of it.
Sean Patrick Fannon, pop me a message. I'm happy to help anybody. It's a promise I made when I first got started, and these guys gave me my first chance to write books. They made me promise to pay it forward, to help others. And I uphold that promise every day.
And you're doing it right now, and you're living it. And I think what would be really cool, before, again, as we wrap up here, if you could just kind of tell people about your own journey through mental health and what that's felt like, however much you want to self-disclose, by all means. I think it would just kind of bring everything together in a very nice way to end our conversation today.
Absolutely, Elliot, and I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm very open about my path. If you follow me on Facebook, I talk very, very openly about my mental health journey and about my therapy, and because I feel like it's vital to destigmatize. It's vital.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
To say, and so many people feel a connection to that, and I'm grateful that my Captain Extrovert personality helps bring that concept forward. I was diagnosed a few years ago with what was called aggressive depression. It was kind of an odd diagnosis, and the person I was dealing with at the time, I just did not feel I was getting anywhere with my journey there. So it kind of sputtered. Sure. But I was realizing that I was dealing with a great deal of anxiety, that I was dealing with ramping up my stress, and that stress was causing two damaging things. It was causing a lack of productivity on my part, and I've got multiple projects going on, and they were falling apart. I was not getting things done, I was also causing harm to my family.
Sure.
They were suffering from my outbursts. It wasn't really so much violence, but it was just, a constant emotional downplay that was spreading almost like an emotional disease through my entire family. And they were all doing what they could. But I was asking them to take on something they had no professional training or expertise to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So when we moved out here and I got access to all the healthcare, fantastic healthcare, by the way, St. Anthony's North, cannot say enough about them.
Awesome.
The hospital and the people there are fantastic. And thanks to Medicaid, yes,
sure.
I was able to get access, but I also found out I had access to mental health.
Sure.
So I asked about that. My primary care physician decided to put that thought forward. The Community Reach Center works with St. Anthony's North.
Yeah.
So I got with a therapist. He and my primary care physician agreed on a diagnosis of anxiety as the primary thing.
Mm-hmm.
And since that point, it's been fantastic. I go in every week. I go in every week and just have this fantastic conversation. He has moved on to a new opportunity, but he put me in with one of his colleagues, and she's been fantastic. Erica, shout out Erica. I doubt she's ever going to see that, but whatever. I'll have fun telling her I gave her a shout out.
Right, exactly.
But she's been learning about stuff. So, for example, I'm poly,
mm-hmm.
and have a poly relationship that is complex but beautiful. And she has gone out of her way to learn about poly so that we can discuss all the things that are going on with the stresses and challenges of that.
Yeah.
And she actually opened. She welcomes my poly partners to come in and sit down with her as well occasionally, so we can kind of do a group thing there. And she has gone every way to understand my culture, where I'm coming from. And she and the previous one, Clint, both compliment me on my self-awareness, which yay. But self-awareness is only going to take you so far if you don't do something with that self-awareness.
Totally. And
you can say all day long, "Oh, I screwed up," or "Look at me, I can recognize what I've done wrong, or I can recognize where this is." But if you're not going to embrace a path of adjustment, right? It's not like changing the core of yourself, but the self-awareness has to lead to take that breath, pull it down, quit assuming the worst. There's a thing I do every day, Monday through Friday, hashtag Games in Life,
mm-hmm.
on Sean's Pick of the Day, or well, I also do Sean's Pick of the Day every day too. But if you follow me, you'll see these like brightly colored whatevers and their little aphorisms. Today was one I did about when you have a breakdown at the table and you're assuming worst intent around everyone, you're not the only one hurting.
Totally.
I caused this last night. There was a thing. I had an anxiety fall last night. I'm a lot better now than I used to be, but you have to keep working. It's constant work. It's a constant work.
Yep.
And last night, for some reason, I was on a slow boil from something else entirely, and I wasn't really aware of it. But Corinne said something in character. It was in character too. It was all role play, but it was in character. For some reason, it triggered something negatively in me out of character.
Stuff like that's going to happen.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of why the mental health is here.
Yep, and it spiraled.
Yeah,
and it really kind of crashed the game. Sure. And it caused harm. And I'm accepting my responsibility in that, and I've apologized to everyone for that. It's not the first time I've had to apologize too. So it's like, okay, Sean, you can't keep doing that. So it's a thing that I've already logged that I'm going to talk to Erica about. And that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You've got to just say, you know what, I'm a mess, and that thing happened. And you can't sit back and go, I'm worthless and that is not worth it.
Right.
What you can do instead is go, I see that. Right. I acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pick that up and put it in a space where I'm going to take it to my therapist and say, let's talk about this and help me figure out what new techniques I need to apply to keep that from happening again, or to manage that if it happens. And that's a constant work, and it's worthy work.
Absolutely.
Because my family has told me that I'm way better than I used to be, that I cause a lot less harm, which was why last night was kind of an anomaly, and it kind of caught everybody off guard, including me, because you don't flip a switch and suddenly everything's fine.
Right.
Your emotions, your growth as a human being is a constant process, no matter where you are.
100%.
And you never know which of the complex interactions happening inside of you and external to you are going to set off a chain that takes you emotionally or mentally into a space that you're not managing well.
Right.
And just having the willingness to be aware.
Right. And
the willingness to adapt to that, that's part of the journey. That's what a therapist or counselor helps you with. And for those who feel like they just don't have anyone. That's not true.
Right.
There's so many assets and resources out there. Community Reach Center is fantastic for that. They have crisis groups.
Yep.
They have so many, easy access. They work with people who are like, I can't afford it.
Mm-hmm.
There are ways. There are ways. Trust me, and I promise you there are. There's the crisis lines to reach out to, people who volunteer because they want to be a person for you to reach out to and connect with. Because putting it on your family, that's not cool, right? There's a point
at
at
which
which
non-biased space to do so.
Right. Your family can only do so much, and there's only so much burden that they can handle before it starts becoming a crisis for them.
Right. Finding
an external source, finding that external person who has the capacity, not just the willingness, but the capacity to reach you and help you work through things. There's just nothing like it. So
yeah. And that, Sean, I think you sharing your own story and your own, accomplishments and struggles is helping normalize this for a lot of our viewers out there. If they're having a difficult time, finding the spaces to go to or what have you. And I think, us meeting, I think is such a good space. And
absolutely.
It's like written that we're bringing therapists and gamers and geeks together because it's such a needed place.
Yeah, you break a leg, you go and get it set.
Absolutely.
You're sick, you get medicine, you get treatment. There's no difference between that and where your emotion and your mental health are concerned. It's absolutely the same concept, and it's
100%.
It's so vital people realize that I'm not feeling well emotionally is the same thing as I'm not feeling well because my stomach's messed up.
Right.
Both of them require treatment to get better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely,
and
that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen, people. Thank you, everyone, for viewing, tuning in. We really appreciate your support, and look out for the events we got going on coming forward.
This coming Saturday,
That's
September
right.
7th, and then May 16th next year.
Hell yeah. Thank you all. Peace up, Facebook Live family and friends. Head therapist is out. Headed colleague, Sean, as well. Peace.